Hello. Whoa, took me a second. Hi, guys. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to another live AMA with the American Crypto Academy. Today we have Jahon, the CEO of American Crypto Academy. You guys are familiar with him. And we have Peter Girr. Am I saying it right? Is it Girr or
It's
Gear?
Girr, yeah.
Girr.
Like a
Okay,
bear.
we have Peter Girr with us. He is the CEO of WiseToken, and it is a very interesting token. And we're looking forward to bringing you this AMA.
Yeah, no, definitely. Thank you very much, AltMom, and thank you for those watching at home, for those joining us for the first time, or for those joining us again. Welcome to the American Crypto Academy AMAs. We've been doing these all through the summer, AltMom, and we've had some amazing projects. We had some great folks come up on our AMAs, our Tuesday sessions. We've had everyone from Casper to Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu to Tegrity, right? We've had to Blocksy. So we span the spectrum of digital assets. And one of the areas that we noticed that our pedigree, with our partners at Sarson Funds is on the institutional side, and like products like lending, and we see a lot of need and demand for that in the space, especially in the wake of a lot of debacles that we've had, that led up to the bear market. But one of the projects that we really, really like, that we think can enable a lot of different, applications, a lot of different projects, and certainly a lot more liquidity in the market, is our friends over at Wise. So we're happy to have Peter on the spaces today. And AltMom, I'll let you take it from here. But Peter, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
It's really exciting because I was hosting some Twitter spaces, and then all of a sudden this really cute little owl profile picture pops up in my Twitter space, and I'm like, hey, there's Wise. And started to build this relationship with this person in the spaces, and all of a sudden he started showing up in all of them, and he was really, it was more about participation, more about learning about other people in the market. So I'm really picky when it comes to like these new things out of nowhere, and I have about 1,000 pieces of owl jewelry, so he had my.
Yeah, you guys certainly have been visible, Peter. So, and a very visible and active member of what's going on in Web3 and what's going on in Crypto X. So, we'd love to hear. Tell us a little bit. What is WiseToken? What do you guys do? And tell me a little bit about your project and what's going on.
Sure. So the WiseToken ecosystem is a collection of DeFi apps. So it's not just like one thing, it's like 3 or 4 different things. We have our token, which we had a very large token sale back in 2020. We raised 57,900 Ether. And then we used that Ether not to develop the project, but actually to back up the value of WiseToken in ETH. So right now, 3 years later, we have the largest pool on Uniswap. It's Wise Ethereum. It's a locked pool. And that Ether that we raise is backing the value of Wise. So that's the token. And then we have 2 live protocols right now. One is called liquidnfts.com, where you can use a blue chip NFT, and then you can borrow against the value of it. And then our flagship protocol is Wise Lending, which is a lend borrow protocol like Aave, except that it also bridges on top of other opportunities to yield farm, where the yield is being generated mainly by staked Ethereum.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so like, I just want to make it clear for folks, a lot of the attention has been paid to new platforms, new protocols. Everybody's looking for something new, especially on the heels of a lot of meme stuff. But you guys have been building for a while. You guys are not new. As a matter of fact, you took a very deliberate approach to build in a very methodical way. And I think that is something that is supremely important. But being backed and having that largest pool on Uniswap, I mean, that's not small potatoes.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And the most important part of all of that is the whole idea, but then the vision behind this is that we're using the protocol fees that are generated to go back to WiseToken. So most protocols in Web3, the fees that are made on the protocol, they go to whoever owns the protocol, like that team. But ours is owned by the WiseToken DAO. So it goes back to the DAO, and then it's used to buy and burn WiseTokens. So during the past 3 years, I was able to, self-fund everything, and we purposely didn't get VCs and involve VCs because we wanted this to be a community-owned project. So at the heart of everything, first of all, it's decentralized from end to end. That's very important to us. So we have this decentralized lend borrow ecosystem, has a token associated that's backed by ETH, and the proceeds of the protocol funnel back into the value of the token. So that's the grand scheme of things.
So what got me was this random fact. I was sitting there and we were in a Twitter space and someone said, oh yeah, there's $100 million of liquidity that's came into this. And I was like, say what? Like I had to stop for a second and like fact check. Like I had to go and like see what was really going on, because that's a big thing to say. And you don't hear that from something that you don't see in the top 10 or the top 100 that everybody's talking about on a regular basis, that's splashed all over the influencers pages. So tell me a little bit about how this was built, and the fees obviously going back after the trading and borrowing. That's incredible. And the burning. So how long did it take you guys to really scale up to this high number?
Well, we started off with a bang, actually. Like, we launched the token sale within about 9-10 months of starting coding, like the Wise token contract and the staking contract. And then when we launched, we had a really unique token sale launch. We did it as an auction because, to me, I think it's not optimal to choose the price of your own token, because you're never going to get it right, and there's bad implications if it's too low or too high once it actually hits the market. Whereas if you have an auction, it's already kind of like it's hitting the market, because the market's deciding the price. So we had an auction for 50 days straight, and I was live streaming on YouTube for 50 days. We gained a lot of.
I was going to say there's a live of your guys' raise. I was going through. I was like, what do you mean a live raise? I was looking through that this morning. You stayed live for 50 days. Is that what you just said?
No, I streamed for 50 days straight. So every day the auction turns over, right? So there's like a time when it ends and then the next day starts. So I would stream the hour up until the turnover of each day. And I did that for 50 days straight. And we had like, maybe 300 people watching on day one. And by the end, we had like 4,000 people. It was absolutely crazy. And that's
like Christmas morning every day.
Yeah, that's how we raised that much ETH. Like, people like the idea of radical fairness and fees going back into their pockets. And the fact that this is really the only token that's backed by ETH, because usually if it's not ETH and it's not Bitcoin, if it's a token derivative, like we're talking about something that's not really backed by anything except the hopes that the project will do well, and then that will translate hopefully into the value of the token. Whereas we're like, no, we're going to actually back it mathematically with Ethereum by creating a locked pool on Uniswap with all the funds that were created.
It's very interesting. I've worked with a couple of different projects where we were trying to back something, and you get into a challenging scenario where it's like, okay, this is backed by it, but how do you prove it? How do you show it? So how do you guys go about that when people ask you, what does it mean my token is backed?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Uniswap protocol provides the ability for us to do this. Without Uniswap, it would be really difficult to create a token that's backed, in a decentralized way, not without any humans involved. So because Uniswap is this place where you can create liquidity pools, one of the like most people that use Uniswap, they're liquidity providers, or they want to swap from one token to the next. If they want to swap from one token to the next, that's basically what the protocol is for. And if you want to be liquidity providers, you add money and then you earn transaction fees based off the people that are swapping. But there's a third application that nobody really thought of, which is that you can lock the position permanently. And so if you lock the position permanently, there's a way you can do that so that the token is backed. So basically, we had our token sale, and during that auction, during those 50 days, half of the entire supply was auctioned off. And so then that means that 50% of the supply is in people's pockets, and then they sent in ETH, and then the contract has the other 50% of the supply. So we took that other 50% of the Wise token supply, paired it with that ETH for liquidity, and then put it on Uniswap, and then we sent the LP tokens, which is what controls the liquidity, to a burn address, which locks it forever. And so what that did, it locked up all this ETH, and then the only people that can access it is if you already have Wise tokens. So that's why there's this provable backing. And it's kind of cool too, because that's the amount of ETH that's backing it, that can grow as well as people buy more Wise, because you're buying it from Uniswap, which adds more ETH to the pool, which no one owns, or the only people that own it are people that already have Wise that can cash out. So it's a very unique kind of use case for Uniswap that not a lot of people use. But we use.
So now you got to tell us about your dev team. All right, I've heard good things about your dev team. You got to tell us about your dev team.
Yeah, we have a really good dev team, and part of that was just hard work. We go through maybe almost 100 applications before we actually hire somebody. But also, we started building our team in 2019, and it was a lot easier to find really good people in 2019. Whereas now, if I tried to make the same elite caliber dev team right now, it'd be hard. Like, a lot of those people are working for Coinbase or Uniswap, or like have their own projects, something like that. But I was able to, find our lead dev, who's still our lead dev today. And that was like the best thing that ever could have happened to our project, because he is just a Solidity samurai, he calls himself. And so, like, he's really, really good. And from that developer, we were able to branch out and hire more. And because we had such a good one to start, he was able to vet our other developers. And we've just been building a really good core team of people. So besides Vitaly, who's our lead dev, and he's also a lead dev for Bitcoin.com with their exchange, the Verse exchange. He also created the smart contracts for Decentral.games, which is a really successful ice poker gaming ecosystem.
Yes.
So that's our dev. He's been working with us from the very start. And then our two other expert developers are actually math PhDs. They live in Germany. They're German math PhDs. One of them is like astrophysics, or no, sorry, not astrophysics, particle physics. I don't even know. They're geniuses, but they're very good at math. And then they learned Solidity, and so now they are really top of the line Solidity developers as well. So that's like our core team of 3 Solidity developers. We also have a really great front end team, but I attribute just about everything to them, because I could have the best ideas in the world, but if you can't code it in a way that is safe and they really know what they're doing and it's optimized for gas, you're not going to have a project at all. So luckily we've been able to be a really tight team during this entire 3 years, and very happy with what we've been able to accomplish so far.
Jahon, I want to ask you something. So when he's talking about, how hard it is to find a developer, and there's a ton of devs out there, but it is very challenging, right? We're unifying in this decentralized way. We're being open communities where we're working with people all over the world. But a lot of times, you're putting a lot of faith into somebody that you've never met before. And so where do you think American Crypto Academy plays into this as time goes on?
Well, I mean, that's one of the the challenges that we see, right? Is not only on the education side, right? There's a lot of different pathways. Not all of them are clearly defined to acquire new developer skills, but also sort of the certification as well, and the community aspect. I mean, reputation goes far, so we understand that it's an issue, and that's sort of one of the things that we're trying to solve. What we do in our certification solutions as well, and hopefully be able to pair that up with good projects as well. So, but we're happy that Peter was able to find the resources he needs, and that just belies the importance, right, not only of community for your project, but that your project's community internally as well.
Yeah. Well, what I see happening is, as we start to have more of these students that are graduating from college with the blockchain degrees, I start to see them having, credibility pretty quick out, but you always have bad actors. And then I also this is why people say, we've got time, we got time, we're early. Well, at the same time, a lot of the opportunities that are available right now for people that have learned Solidity, for people that have learned these things on their own and don't have a degree necessarily in this area, is we are going to come into this phase of students graduating with these blockchain degrees, and it's going to take away a lot of the opportunities that are more global. So I'm really encouraging people right now around the world, if you even have the smallest interest or think you would be good at this, if you think that you could learn to code, if you're a pattern seeker, if you love technology, start now. There's tons of blockchain courses available. There's tons of resources. You can reach out to me, you can reach out to Jahon. I'm sure Peter, I'm sure your devs probably know some people. It's really,
you can reach out to Peter and get hired maybe
now
once Peter's hiring, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's one of my passions is to let people help them find their superpowers right away. Especially when we have a very limited amount of time to capitalize on this transfer of wealth. But so tell me a little bit about the DAO and how you guys make decisions, and tell me about your burning mechanism. Is it scheduled? Is it something that the DAO decides? Like, how do people learn about this?
Oh, sure. Well, on wisetoken.net, we've got our docs, and one of the tabs in our docs is the DAO, and it explains how all that works. So our DAO isn't designed to make a ton of decisions. It's just supposed to work the way it was designed. And one of the primary goals of the DAO is to buy and burn Wise token, and it just passively receives the revenue that's coming from Wise lending, and then it uses a percent of that to buy and burn Wise. And so the DAO would dictate, certain things like the percentage of Wise that's burned and the percent that remains in the DAO. And those types of things, but it's just it just seamlessly comes from Wise lending into the DAO, and then it's used to buy and burn. But my goal is not for Wise token holders and members of the community to have to worry about governance decisions. We want to get it right in the beginning so that everybody is on board with the way it works, and not have to worry about, these bureaucratic things and voting all the time. I think a lot of DAOs get tangled up in the weeds with a lot of bureaucracy, where I think it's better just to have a plan and a model from the start that people are on board and agree with, so we don't have to take up people's time with voting every week or something.
I look at a DAO similar to a safety net for a lot of projects, right? So if you've got the model right, there shouldn't be a lot of, let's do 3% this month, let's do 5% this month, the market's down. You're going to just create this a greedy system or a manipulative system sometimes. So it's really important to have this safety net of a DAO. If you look at, Wise token 100 years from now, say 100 years from now, Wise token's doing its thing. You got this giant pool, and then something happens with technology, and there's a decision to be made to have a larger group of a DAO that can be passed down to their children through, their seed phrases or however that works. It's really important because we don't know what the future holds. And if you're a truly decentralized network, if you're really going for that, okay, we want this to be open, this is true DeFi, then it's really important. And I haven't seen a lot of DAOs successfully implement that strict governing kind of model, because they become, they just become back and forth, and then they want to fork, and then it's nonsense. So I like the fact that you said just put their things in place right from the very beginning. What else would you like to tell us today about Wise? What do you guys have coming up? Do you have anything?
Yes.
These are kind of smooth and steady. I was like, man, where are the bumps in the road? Like, what can we talk about? And I'm like, they're just Wise.
Yeah. What do we have coming up, Peter, that we can look forward to? I know you guys have been busy.
So we just launched our flagship product, which is Wise Lending. And so the vision was always to be a better version of people's bank accounts, because the reason I got into blockchain and decided to dive down this rabbit hole starting 2017 was because I discovered blockchain. I was like, wow, this technology is going to revolutionize finance. And the reason why I thought that was because I'm just counting the cost for the overhead of what it actually takes to run a bank or any financial institution. and you've got like the brick and mortar buildings, you got tons of employees, you got your fraud and security department. There's billions of dollars that go into actually running a financial institution. Whereas blockchain technology has this wonderful thing called the Ethereum blockchain, where you could build smart contracts on that are super efficient, that you could have all these rules. So you don't need the security, because the Ethereum layer 1 is the security for you that you get to build on top of for free. And you can create these complex financial systems that all they cost is a transaction fee and gas when the user decides to use that protocol. So that blew my mind away. And I'm like, wow, we need better versions of a bank. We need better versions of loans and better versions of investments, because I know my bank charges me 18 to 26% on my credit card if I don't pay every single month. And yet in my savings account, they're going to give me less than 1% per year back. So we can be more efficient in DeFi. So that's what Wise Lending is. It's a place to put your funds, your crypto funds, and you could start earning with them. And you could also borrow against them if you want to long or short the market. And we also have these other things coming out at the end of the month called power farms, which are yield farming opportunities, which offer a higher APY than you would get just from depositing your money into the protocol, because you're putting your money in a special pool that is getting something else that's more, usually built on something that is on staking Ethereum. That's where the yield is coming from. So I'm very excited about this, specifically Wise Lending. That's our flagship product. And I can't wait to grow this, because this was the main thing that I wanted to build from the very start.
So I come to you with my V friend and I say, I need to get to VCon next week, and I don't have a bank, and I don't like where my tokens are right now, so I don't want to sell anything. I don't want to drop anything on the floor. And I need liquid right now. So what do you do with my V friend? How does that work?
Okay, so there's a couple of ways that you could use lending protocols, and one thing to do is you can borrow against the funds that are already there. So this is what like a lot of rich people do when they're using Aave or another lending protocol. They'll deposit their wrapped Bitcoin, or they'll deposit their ETH, and when they want to make an investment or whenever they need money, they'll borrow against that because it's a non-taxable event. And so then they'll use that money to pay for their expenses. And then they've just, done something that's
just haven't moved anything, but right.
Yeah, so that's one thing that you could do with a lending protocol. Whatever you have deposited on Wise Lending, you can borrow against that. And then in the meantime, if you're not borrowing against it, or you're earning APY that is provided from other people who are borrowing against it. So if your money's just sitting in a MetaMask wallet, it's not earning anything. But if it's on Wise Lending, it's still accessible to you. You can take your money back at any time you want, and you can borrow against it at any time you want. But it's also earning.
Gotcha. So are you guys at the phase now where you're loaning against these blue chip NFTs, or are you just loaning against the liquidity in the with whatever you've staked or have locked in the protocol?
So liquid NFTs is kind of like an ancillary product that ties into Wise Lending, because Wise Lending is just cryptocurrency, not NFTs. So you can deposit cryptocurrency, you can borrow another cryptocurrency. Liquid NFTs, you deposit your NFT and then you borrow against the NFT. So eventually, liquid NFTs will be tied into our platform as a modal. So it can be like, hey, do you want to free up some money with your blue chip NFT that's also in your wallet? And you could, borrow ETH against your NFT and then use that on Wise Lending. But that's kind of like an accessory product.
Gotcha. Perfect. Okay. So over the next, I would say 6 months, what are your plans for getting this lending protocol out where more people are learning about it?
Well, besides doing more spaces and lives and AMAs like we're doing right now, we have got some articles being written by our community and some by other crypto publications as well. And then besides that, we're just getting the word out as a community, because, once we launch our power farms, we're going to have this attractive APY that's best in class APY on a lending protocol. So what we've accomplished here, we haven't done anything like rocket science or anything like that. These are basic things we're doing, but the scale of what we're doing is pretty huge, because we're this big lending protocol that can do like everything that Aave can do. But then we've also added on these yield farming opportunities. So we're really like 2 or 3 different protocols all combined together, so that it's like the nexus of where you want your crypto funds to be, because that's where the best APY is going to be. So there's been lending protocols, there's been yield farming protocols. I haven't seen anybody yet sandwich them together and be like, hey, what if you could deposit money on the yield protocol, and then you could also borrow against it too, because we recognize that as collateral? Or, hey, what if you want to borrow against your ETH and then use that extra money to put it on a yield farming protocol? So we're marrying these two things that are really good, and they work really well together. Because Aave right now, if you go to Aave, you're not going to see more than like 2.5% APY on stablecoins, or 1.5% APY on Ethereum for leaving your Ethereum there. That's the industry standard right now for lending protocol. But that is because their only demand is from people that want to borrow only on their platform. What we're doing is we've connected a bunch of great yield farming platforms, like Spark Protocol, which is MakerDAO, and then Pendle, which is an ETH staking protocol. We've connected that to our lending protocol, so that these higher APY opportunities are available to our borrowers, and that will raise the APY across the board. So it's not something new per se, but the scale of it is something that I haven't seen before. So I'm very excited about it, because before, there never was a really one-stop shop to get the best APY. It'd be like, okay, if I want the best APY on my Ethereum, go to Pendle. If I want my best APY on a stablecoin, well, maybe I'll go to Curve Finance, or maybe I'll go to MakerDAO. Whatever happens to be the highest at that point. We're just kind of like corralling all of that. And
it's a pain to move everything. It's almost like, well, I don't want to. So I've been unbanked for several years now, and it is a challenge. Like, I just locked one of my accounts this week, and I was like, crap, now I don't have a card. Now I have no money, even though I have money. And I have other ways to go about it, but it's been a really hard thing to show people that you can be unbanked, that you can start to depend on these protocols and these different ways of going into the future. And so I kind of made that sacrifice. I know it's not always the smartest decision to make that sacrifice, but if some of us are not here actually doing it, then why would people like you believe in building it, right? So at the end of the day, I try to really back the people that are taking this seriously and saying, okay, I'll be your guinea pig. Let me go out here. Let me tell you what problems I have. Let me tell you what happened when I tried to get a loan for my solar panels, which I ended up getting. And I was very surprised. I got a loan without a bank account, which blew my mind. But yeah, so it's really interesting to see what this future looks like. Do you ever see a way for people to have all of their money in Wise, have some sort of card, some sort of way to spend it, and not have anybody else, and they can be their own bank using the Wise protocol and your entire system?
Yeah, 100%. The goal is to have like a card where you could just be a debit card and connected to your crypto accounts. Right now, you can still do that. Like, the card isn't from us, but you can do that with Ethereum, and on other places you can have your Ethereum and Bitcoin connected to your accounts. But that's not provided by us right now. I would absolutely that's where we're headed. Because
let's go SEC. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get it together. No. What about you, John? Do you have any questions? Anything I missed today?
Well, I think Peter, I think a lot of people are going to be looking for what Wise is doing, especially as the, I think the ecosystem aspect and the ETH backing is really important. And I think that it's good that I'm happy that you're able to come on our spaces today, because I think a lot of people want to, have an understanding of how you would do something like that. So thank you very much for explaining those mechanics. I think they're really important for folks to understand that could be, to me, that seems like a standard setting way in which you guys did your launch. So for folks that want to learn a little bit more, where can they go find you guys online?
Kind of our homepage is wisetoken.net. And then the Wise Lending product that I talked about is wiselending.com. So, but if you want to see like our documents, wisetoken.net, and then one of the tabs at the top is our main documents.
Thank you very much. I like the liquid NFTs. As everyone knows, I'm a big NFT fan. So I'm glad that I get to play around with liquid NFTs as well. So we were thrilled to have you guys come on board. If there's anything, you guys are very active on Crypto X. So we're certainly, as AltMom was mentioning at the very beginning. So where can they follow you guys on Twitter /X?
Sure. Our main account is wise_token. So that's our main account. And yeah, Jay is the guy who runs our Twitter, and he's a community member that has stepped up and taken the role, and he's doing a fantastic job.
He is doing a fantastic job. We're big fans. So, for those listening in, all right, go check him out online. Give him a follow on Twitter. We certainly did, because there's a lot going on in the Wise ecosystem. And, as everybody's sort of chasing what the latest flavor is, there's a lot of unbelievable projects that have been being built in this whole time where everybody was worried about a bear market. So we think that Wise is definitely one that warrants taking a look at. So that's all I got, AltMom, and that's all I got, Peter.
I really enjoy these types of AMAs. It excites me to still be able to find these gems, to find these things where people are real. People are wanting to get in front of the camera. They want to come out here and they say, hey, this is what we've been building. Like, sorry, we haven't been out here in your face with pom-poms and a megaphone, but we've been back here with a megaphone, and all of our people are slowly just coming on board. And when they come on board, they stay. And I've heard so many good things from so many different community members that are in the Wise token ecosystem. And I'll say, oh, do you work with Wise? Or, oh, are you part of the team? No, I'm just a part of the community, and I've been there a long time.
Those who know, you guys have a really great reputation.
Yeah,
I just want to
you
give
do.
You that feedback.
You really do. So, all right. Well, thank you guys. This was another amazing AMA. Thank you so much for joining us, Peter. And we look forward to seeing you more in spaces. And Jahon, thank you for having this day with us. Tuesdays are always the best when we get to hang out. So we will talk to you guys again soon. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter, US Crypto Academy. It's the American Crypto Academy handle. And they do a space every single day during the week.
Every space is in the morning. Come see, as AltMom was saying, come visit us. 9:30 Eastern time. Learn crypto radio with the American Crypto Academy and the SARS and Funds morning market update. So thanks very much, everybody.
Mm-hmm.